What's going on, everyone? This is Tommy, and today's video is on speed generation, the extra bit of squirt. Um, First and foremost, Happy New Year, 2022. And officially, this will be my first video of the year. The last video, which I posted just about a week ago, I had actually shot and processed the year prior. So it was only because I was sick with COVID during the end of December I had to push the release of that in January. So officially, this is the first video. One thing I wanted to talk about before going into this extra squirt is if you haven't seen the first video, Speed Generation Part 1, I recommend you do that. Now that I think is a great video for people that are low end or high end beginner, low end intermediate, all the way up to maybe mid intermediate, and possibly some maybe low level advanced. I'm not quite sure. This one here is probably more geared towards upper end intermediate, lower advanced, people that haven't made that connection yet as to the details of how to get that little extra bit of speed. But if you are a beginner, I mean, you could stand to learn something, which is just having these little processes in your head, even though you're, let's say, don't have the body awareness yet. When that moment does occur, it will make it easier. So now looking at these clips, you'll notice that the waves are kind of soft, but here Tom Curran, look how much speed he can generate just by one pump. Okay, and the thing about pumping, as explained in the first video, it's a series of compressions to extensions. But there's something that these guys are doing that you might not be quite aware of, and that's called heel lift. Here, as Mason compresses and extends, look at his heel. See how they're up? So technically what's happening is he's applying pressure to the toe. But in doing so, it ends up lifting your heel, and it's just much easier for me to describe. So regardless of whether it's Mason, and this is Kevin Scholes, when he wants to get that extra bit, he compresses, extends, and he'll lift his heel or put pressure on his toes. That inside rail, the rear where the rails are harder, it's key. Again, Tom Curran, this time you'll watch him and you'll see his heel pops up, and that's because he's applying pressure to his toe. Okay? Often when I surf, I don't do that. I use mostly compressions to extensions in my legs. But every once in a while when I do apply, I notice I get extra speed. And so this here, if you watch his heel, they just come up for a split second. That's because he's applying pressure right to the toe rail. See how his heel lifts? Okay, so we'll call it heel lift, but it's actually pressure to the toes. Okay? And some people are way more obvious than others. But I guarantee if you watch any CT event, any QS event, whatever these competitions are called these days, doesn't matter. If there's a flat section and these guys are pumping through it, obviously in pocket surfing it's less obvious. And actually you don't need it because the wave's generating all the speed for you. But in all these flat sections, you'll notice that these guys all lift their heels. This is Kevin again. You see how his heel comes up? And the reason why is because he's applying pressure, immense pressure to the toes, and that's at the last bit of his extension. So a quick example of my surfing, and you'll notice that my heels don't lift. And although I think I surf pretty fast, because I am applying pressure to my toe, but only with my feet locked flat. If I were to extend at the end of that extension, if I were to press a little bit more on my toes, I'd probably get 10 to 15% more speed. I've actually tested this, and I've seen the difference. So yesterday I took out my Go Fish and I surfed half my waves flat-footed and half my waves with the heel lift, okay? Or again, toe side pressure against the rail and fin. And that's your back foot, right? And it made a huge difference. I could literally tell that there was a speed difference. I got this little bit of extra squirt, and if I had to quantify it, and I know it's hard to, I would put it in the realm of about 10 to 15% more speed. Okay, so I wanted to test it out, and I wish I had the footage from yesterday. But the reason why I wanted to test it before putting out this video is to make sure that I wasn't telling you something that was just a theory, okay? I had to prove that theory to myself, and I've always kind of known it, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to at least consciously test it, and that way, when I put this video out, I can actually stand behind, and say, I believe it. I believe in it, and I know it's going to help you. So go out, try it, okay? Remember, I call it a heel lift, but it's just toe side pressure. And in fact, if you lift your heel, obviously that forces the toe side pressure. So that might be an easier way to really think about it, right? So please try it out. Let me know what you think. Let me know how it worked for you, okay? And if you're kind of an advanced surfer, low end, middle advanced surfer like myself that never actually thought about it, let me know if you do it. And if you do it, comment below and just verify that is, exactly what's happening. And the funny thing about it is I don't think pros go around, having conversations about this stuff. I just think that the majority of pros are so talented that it's already built into their system. Like that's just the way they do it. And that's what put them ahead of, let's say, some other guy who was, average that they were learning with. And it just made them better, right? They maybe never consciously made the connection saying, hey, I got to do this. Maybe they just always did it, right? And so hopefully this video is for people like me that don't have this full body awareness that, these little hints, they help, okay? So like, subscribe, comment, and let me know how it goes.